What if the biggest check on Donald Trump's power isn't Congress, isn't the media, but the very Supreme Court that he helped reshape? For years, critics warned that Trump's 3 Supreme Court picks would give him a reliable conservative majority. Supporters believed the court would finally protect his agenda. But after one of the most closely watched Supreme Court terms in recent history, the reality looks far more complicated. In a series of blockbuster decisions, the court handed Trump some major victories, but it also stopped some of his most aggressive moves. So the question Americans are asking tonight is simple: is this really Trump's court, or is the court drawing a line that even Trump can't cross? Let's break down what just happened, because these rulings could shape the future of presidential power for decades. When this Supreme Court term began, many legal experts expected the conservative majority to side with the Trump administration almost every time. Early emergency rulings seemed to reinforce that belief, with the court frequently allowing Trump policies to move forward while legal battles continued. That sparked intense criticism from opponents, who argued the justices were giving the White House too much room to act before lower courts could fully review the cases. But as the months passed, something unexpected happened. Several of Trump's highest-profile initiatives hit a wall, not in Congress, but inside the Supreme Court itself. One of the biggest moments came when the court blocked Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship, preserving one of the oldest constitutional principles in American law while the legal fight continues. In another major blow, the justices rejected his worldwide tariff policy, limiting the administration's ability to impose sweeping trade measures without congressional authority. The court also stopped the removal of Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, signaling that independent institutions cannot simply be reshaped by presidential preference. And perhaps most dramatically, the justices prevented the administration from deploying National Guard troops into cities like Chicago and Portland under the legal theory presented by the White House. Those weren't the only setbacks. The court also ruled that mail-in ballots postmarked by Election Day can still be counted even if they arrive afterward, rejecting a position strongly backed by Trump. In another closely watched case involving digital privacy, the justices refused to give the federal government virtually unlimited access to Americans' historical cell phone location data, reinforcing constitutional protections against broad government surveillance. But before anyone concludes that the Supreme Court has turned against Trump, the full picture tells a different story. This is still the same court that has transformed American law over the past several years. It overturned the constitutional protection for abortion, narrowed affirmative action in college admissions, expanded Second Amendment protections, and ruled that presidents enjoy broad immunity for official acts while in office. More recently, the court has also allowed key parts of Trump's agenda on immigration, federal spending, and executive branch restructuring to move forward during ongoing litigation. That's why constitutional scholars are describing this court in a very different way. It isn't simply pro-Trump or anti-Trump. Instead, it appears willing to support a stronger presidency in many situations while still stepping in when it believes a president, any president. In other words, the justices may agree with many of Trump's legal philosophies, but they are also signaling that there are boundaries they are not prepared to erase. For millions of Americans, these decisions matter far beyond politics. They influence voting rights, executive authority, economic policy, personal privacy, immigration, and ultimately the balance of power between the White House, Congress, and the courts. Whether you support Donald Trump or oppose him, one thing is becoming increasingly clear: the Supreme Court is shaping the rules that every future president will have to follow. So as America heads toward another pivotal political season, one question remains unanswered. Has the Supreme Court found the balance between empowering a president and protecting the Constitution, or are these decisions only setting the stage for even bigger legal battles ahead? Let me know what you think in the comments. Do these rulings prove the court is truly independent, or do you believe politics still plays the biggest role? If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the stories shaping America's future.